Hello, faithful, and welcome to White Throne Metal Radio's Top Albums of 2020. I'm your host, Keven Crothers, station manager for White Throne Metal Radio, staff writer for Heaven's Metal Magazine. Don't forget, check out heavensmetalmagazine.com. Don't forget to put the apostrophe over the S after Heavens, but heavensmetalmagazine.com. They are the sponsor for the main sponsor for White Throne Metal Radio. Always have been. They keep us on the air. Greatly appreciated, of course. Today, we want to talk about my top 5 albums for 2020. I guess there could be a lot more, but I decided to narrow it down to 5. It really seemed near the end of the year, we had that last minute crush of new records or albums, a lot of digital only releases, or the digital came out first and then the CD is going to come out later. I mean, that's all good. But for me, and I'll just tell you this right now, I listen to both Christian heavy metal, hard rock, and secular metal and hard rock, and this is strictly going to be a Christian top 5. I'm also going to discuss, after my top 5, some of my favorite reissues that came out this year. There are actually a lot of reissues that came out this year, even more, probably more than actual new bands of good quality. So let's get cracking, shall we? A couple of these, I only have digital only releases because I just don't have the CDs. A couple of them I was like just slightly out of budget for me, myself, and I. So anyway, let's get in. Number 5. Coming in at number 5, this was an album that came out earlier in the year. This is the Atkins May project, The Final Cut. Traditional heavy metal lives. Al Atkins, yes, the original voice of Judas Priest, that is prior to the Rock-a-Rolla album. But if you look at the Sad Wings of Destiny record, Al Atkins gets some song credits on Victim of Changes, and I believe there's 1 or 2 other songs he gets some songwriting credits on. So I don't believe Al is a believer, but his partner, or in this project, Paul May, is. And this is the 3rd record they've done together. This came out, like I said, earlier in 2020. Paul wrote 11 songs for this record with a Christian worldview, and Al belts it out vocally with urgency and conviction. His vocal heft delivers the goods. Songs like Masquerade, War Between, the title cut, and my personal favorite, Dead Man's Bones, right here.
A soul full of shadows, a mind that is vain. The fame becomes fatal, your pain becomes pain. A name without honor, a night full of blame. Face without feature, forgotten remain. Your dead man's bones, you're bound inside. Your dead man's bones. Just dead man's bones.
Crushing. Absolutely crushing. It's a great traditional sounding heavy metal album, well produced, and great songs. Just some great songs. You can find several YouTube videos. If you haven't already bought this record, pick it up. You can get I believe the CDs are still available, maybe through Amazon and such. I just never got a chance to get one. My number 5, Atkins May project, The Final Cut. Coming in at number 4, and I do have a CD of this one. Coming in at number 4, Oblivion Myth. In Your Arms. 11 songs of progressive power metal with powerful melodies and some scorching guitar playing from their driving force and Keith Smith. Great guitar player. All the way through this album, great songs like 1,000 Years, The Veil. They did music videos for In Your Arms and for 1,000 Years. The more progressive stuff, Heir to the Throne. If you liked Theocracy, if you liked Millennial Reign, if you liked kind of more European power metal with some progressive passages here and there, this album is a must. I mean, to me, the song Love Child, which we've all heard these songs titles before, but lyrically, let me read some of the words to you. Walking down the road of sorrow, I'm motherless, lost and alone. See the tears falling from my eyes so hollow, there is nothing that will ever change. If I could fly, my heart would escape, and I would blow you away, and you would see another me arise, and I would let the love child in me shine. It's a prayer. There's strength I found deep down in the bottom of my stormy sea. There's an iron and a steel of purpose. There's no way I'll let you get to me, no. Now my loving heart, it shines. Now I finally found my peace of mind. Now the flame is burning hot. Won't be something that I know I'm not. Won't be something I know I'm not. If I could fly, my heart would escape, and I would blow you away, and you would see another me arise, and I would let the love child in me shine. The verse on this they make reference to is Matthew 5:16. Look it up. It's a prayer. It's an absolutely great song, great melodies, great production. They've brought in female vocals. They call them the Battle Angels. It's a trio. All three of the ladies in this have different lead vocals at a few different songs throughout. A great record. Again, Oblivion Myth, In Your Arms, comes in at number 3.
See the tears falling from my eyes so hollow. There is nothing that will ever change. If I could fly, my heart would escape, and I would blow you away.
Okay. Moving on. Coming in at, that was number 4, pardon me. Number 3. Now there was some debate. Did this album come out in 2019 or did it come out in 2020? You know, digitally it was released in December, late December of 2019 for, I believe, the people who kickstarted and all that kind of stuff. But the actual, I think, the official release date, especially if you look at the album, it does say 2020, and I'm talking about Saint's last release, The Calf. By the way, they have tracks already done for a brand new album coming out later this year. You heard it here. So, great album, traditional metal that packs a punch and a wallop. Richard Lynch continues to put together an extremely talented lineup. This album itself features the vocals of Mr. David Nelson, and he proves himself, truly proves himself, a worthy successor to Josh Kramer. Most of the Judas Priest type trappings are absent here, but what is given is a delicious slab of heavy metal that fulfills on every level. Memorable, it's heavy. There's melodic passages, there's heavy passages. From the title track to the album closer, God is God. This is an album not to be missed. Here's the title track for you to give a spin right now.
What we know so well, with our stiff neck and our judgment, we become the veil. So we built the golden calf for all the world to see, created with our mighty hands. It's everything we want to be. We call the shop sin and stain, fall down to our knees.
Great sounding heavy metal from Saint. The Calf comes in at number 3. Now, coming in at number 2, and I got to tell you, these top 4 before I get to number 1. These top 4 are all pretty interchangeable, in my opinion. They were all very, very close in my book. Number 2, and some of you are going to go, what? I can't believe it. Stryper, Even the Devil Believes, comes in at number 2. 11 songs of melodic metal with power metal overtones. This continues this continued progression towards a heavier sounding Stryper. The 80s syrupy ballads are gone. You're not going to hear a Calling on You or a Believe or Honestly anywhere on their last 3 or 4 records with such heavy tracks, frankly. And I'm not talking like thrash metal or anything, but they're heavy. You know, Blood from Above, Let Him In, Do Unto Others, Divider. These songs rock. And Stryper continues to give us high quality, world-class heavy metal with a melodic bent. Even though some of the songs on this album, I think, fall into kind of a mid or slower tempo that at times sound a little samey, for the most part, the album is well produced and the highs definitely outweigh the lows. Mike continues to show why. He really is the engine that drives Stryper. Let me play something for you right now. Stryper, Even the Devil Believes, comes in at number 2. Which leads me to my number 1, and frankly, my favorite record of 2020. I got criticized by somebody about why do you have to pick, why does it have to be, this or that? And it's fandom. It's what we do as fans, right? We like to rank and pick and discuss what our favorite songs, what our favorite guitar player is, who is our most... I mean, it just is what it is. And if your band isn't in this top 5, your favorite artist, I should say, isn't in your this top 5, maybe I haven't heard it. Because honestly, there's some stuff, and even some stuff by some bigger name bands that aren't on this list, I just haven't heard it yet. Coming in at number 1. Number 1. I heard it, the first song, back in June, May, and was completely blown away because over their prior record, coming in at number 1 is Messenger with In to Win. Hands down, the best record I have heard. If on the secular side of things, AC/DC is what you needed because it was familiar, it got you up, it got you going. Messenger, In to Win is that same thing on the Christian side of things.
He talked about the future, he talked about the past, what that means for you and for me. Was it good or bad? I'm kinda glad you asked. I think I know the way I can see. I wish I had a time machine with a
High
time
quality,
machine.
heavy at times, more melodic at times, memorable songs, infectious and hook-driven. In to Win. It's 13 songs. Probably could have cut a song here or two. Not a big deal. Excuse me. In to Win, absolutely, hands down, the best album I have heard in 2020. Songs like Time Machine. Oh, get that song out of your head. It's hooky. It grooves. It's a great song. Give a shout. How about the heavier songs like Messenger at Arms?
Does the messenger defend? And then a different pain, a
the best instrumental of 2020, Trial and Triumph. It ranks up there with Coast to Coast and Transylvania, in my opinion. Absolutely. And it's not 5 minutes of noodling. It's a great instrumental. Peaks and valleys, atmospheric. It's a great song, but without a doubt, my favorite song that I heard this year, and when I heard it back in May, June, I think it was May, when Frank sent me some of the stuff originally, and honestly, I got to tell you, this song blew me away. I wasn't too sure about some of the other tracks until I got the whole record and I got to hear everything. But my favorite song of this year was Blindsided, and let me play part of that song for you right now.
Feeling, knowing it's gonna seal. With this win, I'll be set for good. Keep your promise like you should. I'm singing a song. Lying, spying, prying, lightning bolts, and I'm blindsided. I can't see the
Very Maiden-like, but without it being a ripoff, not even close. There are elements on this album that remind me of European power metal. There are elements that remind me of, 80s groove melody stuff. Listen to the song Give a Shout. Okay, the lyrics are a little cheesy, but it's brilliant. Satan's Nightmare. Oh my gosh. The song title sounds kind of cheesy, but you listen to the song and how heavy it is. Let me play part of it for you right now.
victory to seal. I wanna be Satan's nightmare. I wanna be Satan's nightmare.
Without a doubt, an absolutely brilliant record. I don't have a CD of it yet. It's on my buy list. I don't have it. I wish I could show it to you. You can. They've been advertising it on Facebook. You can go to their website. But if you're on Facebook Messenger out of Washington D.C. area, In to Win is my top pick for 2020. Okay, before you log off, how about a couple honorable mentions? Both of these came out late in 2020, and I got a chance to hear them. And I'll just tell you, they were sent to me by Rox Productions, and one of those is Motivic. This album is called Death of the Gunman. It's kind of thrashy, but not. It's got some melody. It's heavy, but it's not Cookie Monster vocals. There's a couple of clips on YouTube you can hear. It doesn't. Trying to think of what it actually sounds like. It's a little different. Actually, I was quite surprised when I listened to the whole thing. Also, Dominus Muse. Now, this was Dominus Muse DM1 revocalized. What that means is it was originally recorded and then new vocals were added to it. Yes, it features the vocals of Dale Thompson. But John Evans from another project band called Evans and Stokes, which I don't have the CD of their album yet. It's coming. It's heavy. There's melody, but it's also atmospheric. It's not. It's heavy metal. It's not a modern vibe. It's different, and frankly, it's pretty darn good. My favorite songs: Hunter Killer, The Crushing, One Calling, some good stuff. All right, how about my favorite reissues of 2020? And first up, these are from Retroactive. These are both. I was excited to get them, and that is the Paradox reissues for both Power and Glory and Ruler. Absolutely fantastic heavy metal from 1987, 1988. It is got that, to me, it's got that Steeler, a heavier Dokken type vibe. It's melodic in places with brilliant guitar playing, catchy songs. They're memorable. Yes, it's 80s sounding stuff, but it's not pop metal. Okay, don't think this sounds, it doesn't sound like Stryper. It doesn't sound like Poison or anything like that. TT Quick or Steeler, things like that. Just absolutely fantastic. Both of these were reissued in 2020 by Retroactive Records. I was super excited. The Ruler, if you had to pick one, get Ruler. It absolutely kicks. Those first five songs are as good as any heavy metal album you will ever hear. You heard it. My other favorite reissues this year from Rox Productions are both gold disc reissues for the one and only, gotta do them again, Vengeance Rising, Human Sacrifice in Once Dead. I'll tell you, the Human Sacrifice reissue sounds brilliant. When I listen to it in my 770 Pro headphones, I hear certain things that are clearer than what I heard prior. I wrote a review for it for Heaven's Metal. You should go check it out. There's just great stuff. I mean, it's a lot of lyrics, the photos, a little bit of history behind the album cover, and some of the other things that were done. It is, in my opinion, it is the definitive reissue. It never needs to be done again, which they probably will run out of copies because people will buy them, and in a couple of years it'll probably happen again. Of course, Once Dead, once the mastering issue was fixed, it really helped a lot. This too, the guitars sound beefier on both. There's more definition of what you can hear on both albums. If you're listening to it in your car, no, you're not going to hear it. But when I'm listening to it, in my headphones, it sounds better. And it's not a wish. I don't like listening to things that overemphasize certain elements or frequencies. I think these were done exceptionally well. There you have it. My top releases for 2020 from a Christian point of view. Share it. Congratulations. I'll just say, hey, you guys that are in my top 5, you made it. Okay, like that means a whole lot. It's just my point of view, my personal opinion. What's your top 5 or top 10 albums for 2020? Put them in the comments below. Share it. Subscribe to the channel. Pass it around. I really appreciate all the kind words that have been given. Don't worry, there are more top 10 songs. And I'm going to start doing something too. I mentioned this earlier in another video where I'm going to start to do what I call redux. And what that means is I'm going to go back to some of my earlier videos. And even though the top 10 may not change, I'm going to put cuts all the way through. And because I go into different things where people said, hey, back in the day, I used to, there are still people that go on Facebook or whatever. They find some of these Facebook chat rooms and whatnot, and they go, I listened to Saint back in the day. Does anybody remember them? Who sounds like them? And they don't even know the band's still around. So you could share those videos. They're coming. I got some ideas for that. Other top 10, I'm going to do some album. I want to do some album countdowns. I want to do some favorite guitar players, good favorite drummers, favorite singers, all that kind of good stuff. So, again, like the channel, subscribe, share it if you will. I hope you have a great afternoon or whenever you happen to be watching this. Don't forget to say your prayers. And until next time, God bless.